Hey everybody, it's your buddy Beard Grizzly. No talk, just Osiris. Here's the trailer for those that haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Guardian, what I'm about to tell you stays between us. While we have been fighting, an ancient gate has opened on Mercury, and an army of past and future machines amasses. They intend to reshape the universe in their image. But there is one who has glimpsed this dark future. He was my mentor, Osiris, the most notorious guardian in Vanguard history. Once, his dangerous ideas nearly destroyed us, and he was banished. Now he has returned, but will he be a powerful ally, or bring us death? You are the one thing they have not foreseen. Go to Mercury and find Osiris. Time is not on our side.
Our story begins a rather long time ago, since that's the only speculative time we have to go by for when Osiris was kicked out of the tower. Osiris caused a lot of grief and trouble, as Ikora says in the trailer, but he foresaw a lot of problems on the horizon. What does this little bit mean, however? Well, to start, the question of whether Osiris left on his own or was banished is answered. He was kicked out. This paints a bit more of a real picture that Osiris was, in fact, that dangerous, and someone that the tower heads feared. Still, they didn't place that lack of trust in Ikora, as she was allowed to become the Warlock Vanguard leader, even though Osiris was her mentor. With those little bits out of the way, however, let's actually get into the trailer, because there's interesting points here that we need to go almost frame by frame for. We'll start from where things open up. To this end, we see the all too familiar triangle doors that the Vex seem to like to walk through. I don't know why, but I get this feeling that the portal or the connected blue tunnel just gives me this feeling of relation to the Sophia, found in Ghost Fragment Dead Orbit from the Grimoire. I don't really have any proof for it, aside from the idea of keyholes and portals that seem to just open up thousands of miles deep, but it's just a feeling. Maybe we'll look into it later, I don't know, but for now, it's just a feeling. This spot opens up to look over a spire in the near distance. The spire itself is crumbling apart, but above it seems to be another structure. Below, you see the crackling of lightning and clouds. This isn't atypical of Vex architecture, as we remember from the House of Wolves mission with Skolas that we were above the clouds on Venus as well. I'm sure we'll find out, but I wonder what that structure is. This next image is interesting since we see that structure again, seemingly connected to more platforms in the sky. Still, time and space are relative to the Vex, so it could be that's the ground and they like to just hang upside down? That actually wouldn't shock me. Anyway, in the far off distance here on the right is another platform. I personally can't figure anything out from it, but I'll turn it to you guys if you see anything. You will notice this structure a few other places throughout the trailer as well, so keep your eyes open. It looks like some type of ship at long range, but it could just be another platform. Still, I'm dancing around the big issue here. The stone statues. These are not too dissimilar to the ones we see in the Black Garden before we blow them up, or to the ones in the Floating Gardens, a Crucible map added back in Rise of Iron. If I remember correctly, these statues have only ever popped up in the Vex Gardens, so now I sit and wonder which one this might actually be. If we're also led to believe anything from what Ikora says in the trailer, she mentions that the portal is activating on Mercury, a very large Vex hotspot, as we know. It could take place on an entirely different area or planet altogether, however, and I also can't discount the similar sky design to it of Venus. We'll skip past the next scene as I don't see much else new, but the one after it is interesting. It's the object on the platform in the center that's a pretty obvious call-out. We don't have a clear look at it, but it sure looks similar to the Traveler. Even has a black mark along the bottom of it, though I'm thinking that is just a shadow from a light source on the ground. All the same, the Vex are not above trying to mimic something to understand it, and as we've theorized in the past with the Vex simulating the darkness, the heart in the Black Garden possibly being their embodiment of it, could they be doing the same with the Traveler, trying to mimic what we as Guardians do to gain our powers? Might explain more of why we see those spheres all over the place on Nessus. I could also just be going crazy. Oh, wait, too late on that one. Still, we see some more simulation and imagery that exists from our past, what with the minotaurs that are here, holding up these posts, kind of similar to what Atlas would do, holding up the weight of the world underneath everything, if you will. There is a fountain or something similar off in the distance, and there's the ever-familiar data beam shooting through the center of these rings. I don't see much else here, but as always, let me know if you hear of anything or see anything that I miss. Next up, this looks like a hobgoblin, but one that has a shield. Can we not with this again? Just can we not? Please? All the same, the crown on the hobgoblin, if it is a hobgoblin, along with the coloring, doesn't seem to fit anything we have on the Vex. It could be a model from the future, as I also don't see anything of the eye being turned on yet. I wonder if it's going to light up and be red, or if it's going to be another color. Could be telling of something else. My mind's wandering again. But speaking of, we're greeted with a lot of the older models that we know of from Destiny 1, bringing about the old Vault of Glass feel. We have the Descendants faction of Vex seen here with the samurai helmets, the precursors indicated by their hollow frills and white eyes, and a shot of a Descendant Minotaur, and then fade to Lighthouse type of place. I'm going to just call this the Lighthouse because that's probably what they were going for anyway, but I'll just go on record as stating it may be something separate from the Lighthouse entirely. But moving on, it's hard to see because they're in the sun as much as they are, but you can catch a Disciple of Osiris by the altar, showcased by the Eye of Osiris on the sleeve and yellow coloring. But the next scene shows the lighthouse is gone and pretty destroyed. That and the sun's all dark. They stole the light, or something. Man, we gotta stop making that so easy to steal. I don't have any answers for this at the moment. We do know that the lighthouse was listed as both in and out of time, and Mercury itself has been in and out of time as well since the Vex really screwed it up. It does give us a better view at a symbol on the ground, however, and though only half of it can really be made out, it does point to the Eye of Osiris again. And again, if you see anything different, let me know. I didn't know this was Destiny Assassin's Creed Origins, The Loss of Light, the pre-sequel. But seriously, Osiris pops out of this triangular portal and I'm half ready for him to start shanking Vex with a hidden blade. At least we all think it's Osiris, since he's over here dressed up like Horus. Sheesh. Egyptian imagery and arguments aside, his ghost shell seems splintered and altered. We can confirm, however, that he still does have his ghost, and as far as we can tell, it isn't corrupted or altered in any way. Seems normal, minus the shell being all tiny. So I guess a ghost really is just a ball in the middle. He proceeds to kick butt and Minotaur face, but we can see his arms enough to know he's a fan of the Sunbracers, or something similar. Guess he really is the Sun Singer of legend.
Destroyed us.
Oh, well, that makes me question a few things. And a half? Briefly, because I need to touch on the Sunsinger legacy of Osiris in another video altogether, the sword that Osiris has seems to be the same that we can use as Dawnblade Warlocks as well. I don't see any differences in its base design at all, and this of course calls up some questions of who may have taught him this older power when Sunsingers were apparently his thing before. But this scene, it looks very similar to the Templar area in the Vault of Glass, where you go down the steps and have the Aegis in the middle. The background has the taller pillars and openings to the left, at least for where you may remember Vex spawning in. In the background, there are two Guardians that seem to be frozen in time. Bullets seem to be frozen just as much as the Guardians seem to be in this image, except for Osiris and the Vex able to move freely. As you go frame by frame, the bullets on the top above the Guardians and from the Guardians themselves don't move at all. Well, at least we assume these are Guardians, with how many of them may have been sent through to the vault after Osiris' banishment. Or even before that, really. After Osiris looks up, we can see the camera has moved inside of a Vex of some kind, and with the speculation that this is the Vault of Glass, I wonder if it's meant to be the Templar. I guess we really didn't kill it in the vault after all. Osiris did it all for us. We just feel special. Sarcasm most likely aside, we can cut to the new structures we haven't seen before, with a sphere in the background. The sun's busy blazing up my eyeballs, and we can cut to a new auto rifle that looks very Osiris branded. We could also have some new Titan armor here, but it's hard to tell given the void glow from the Sentinel. But I think we get a better look at it a little later on. The next scene shows a tower, however, and I wonder if this will be our new staging area on Mercury for the DLC. I'm sure we'll get a new social hub of some kind, given we had the lighthouse before, but this space seems very similar to a lighthouse already. It makes me think it anyway. It could also just be a tower and that's it. Just some kind of Vex structure, and I'm just thinking too far. That wouldn't be anything new. Next, we have some more showings of weapons, with the Jade Rabbit possibly in hand. I remember a ways back when Dido weapons were shown off, but I think that was a fan submission. All the same, this gun definitely fits the bill of Jade Rabbit. Hopefully it's not exclusive this time. But the next one is most exciting. It's a bit far away to see, but this fusion rifle looks very similar to that of Telesto. Being I used Telesto a good bit back in Destiny, I'm excited to see if that's the case. If not, it carries a very similar look. If nothing else, it's just a new fusion rifle, and I love fusion rifles anyway, so whatever, win-win for me. This image also gives a better look at the Titan gear, and it definitely feels like Kabir's armor from Vault of Glass in D1. Not the same, but definitely feels same-ish. I can't really tell what's on the Titan's back though, and the auto rifle looks like the same design we see from Osiris in the trailer, and from earlier on being fired at the Harpy. I like how Bungie is keeping everything at a distance for this trailer. It's hard to make a lot of it out. What I see, however, is a few new sets of armor, at least one for the Warlock in this image. The crown over the head of the Warlock in the lead looks pointed, and it's the most obvious feature. I'm definitely anxious to see it and the other sets more up close, however. Oh, well, that didn't take long. This is the same helmet, or at least I assume it is, with the frill that you can see here matching to that of the one in the previous scene. At first glance, however, this almost looks more like a Titan suit of armor, but the gloves and helmet seem to fit more to that of a Warlock. It looks like Bungie is bringing on another trace rifle, however, similar to that of Coldheart. This one looks to be more solar-based, however. And we end with a Titan just walking outside and then looking down going, how many things can I explode with a fist of havoc from this height? We then cut to the ending where we see the teaser image for Curse of Osiris, and on the right is the possibly named War of the Minds. I feel like this is something else that requires more involved and engaged discussion than what I can do here, and we're already running way over time as it is. Still, this is more of a detailed image for you guys to see and start speculating on, as I know many of you have. But that's the trailer. I have a couple of other lore tie-ins that I want to make past the ones I've done so far, however, but some of them are pretty big topics. I already summed up my base position on the traveler-like object in the middle of the one room we saw, but I do want to cover it in greater depth, along with Sunsinger, Osiris being the person he seems to be now, and a few other smaller pieces. I'm hoping to piece those ideas together soon, as we have a lot of other topics to talk about and work on before Osiris is released next month. Well, almost next month at this rate. This year is flying by, it feels. Maybe I've got a Vex in the attic. Anyway, that'll do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown of the trailer from a lore standpoint. The imagery is still pretty heavy here, and I'm anxious to see what they do with it. Especially being able to finally see Osiris. Osiris? Osiris? I don't know, the armor's a little weird, man. You know the buttons to push telling me if you like this or didn't. Subscribe for more analysis from me and detailed lore content on Destiny. Leave your thoughts below, or leave the phrase "against time" if you're not sure what to say. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you next Spacetime Guardians. Take care.